Okay, so last week I went to the X-Men 97 premiere at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood. Here's a photo of me. I got all dressed up for it. I tried to do like a rogue type of character design to the outfit. But just really quick, I want to point out, I absolutely hate the way I look clean shaven. But I was shaving that day and it didn't turn out so well, so I had to just chop it all off. I felt really good in the outfit, and I feel really good about the show itself. And I want to talk about X-Men 97, and I want to talk about the good and the bad that goes along with it. But first, I also want to say really quickly off the top that I grew up with the X-Men animated series in the 1990s. This channel frequently goes back to talking about animation on television in the 90s. I talked about the Disney Afternoon. I had a whole video about the similarities between gargoyles and Batman. We talk about a lot of 90s animation here, and X-Men is no different for me. I loved that show. I love the characters Gambit and Nightcrawler and Wolverine. I wasn't a fan of Cyclops, but anybody who is a fan of Cyclops will probably love the first 3 episodes and potentially the entire rest of the series of X-Men 97. One of the things I loved is that right off of the bat with X-Men 97, we're introduced to a brand new character that ends up joining the X-Men, which is similar to Jubilee in the original series joining the X-Men at that point. And the show picks up pretty much right where the last one left off, with episodes that are all serialized, so you get a good chunk of action in every episode, but also a lot of personal drama within the X-Men. And one of the things I love about the X-Men's soap opera dramas is that they don't really shy away from things, and they haven't shied away in the past. It's one of the reasons I've always loved the X-Men. They always have something to say socially or politically or economically. It just all kind of works, both for kids and adults. The show in the first 3 episodes gets into a lot of things. There's a couple of overarching stories throughout the episodes that I think may go through the whole series. Like, there is so much going on in the show that feels a bit more adult in nature, but not too adult that kids wouldn't understand it. But there are definitely parallels to certain social and political climates of the world that I saw in the first 2 or 3 episodes of this show. Also, I just want to point out that I took this video while we were waiting outside of the El Capitan Theater, and I thought I was going to make a TikTok, but instead I'm making this video, so I'm sorry that it is it's a vertical video, and I hate putting vertical videos in YouTube videos, but here we are. But what I love about this show is that it is dark and daring and really different from almost anything that Marvel Studios has been putting out in recent years. Even the What If series, it feels a bit more mature than that. And I love that in the past year or so, they've decided to take the Netflix Defender series and add that to the canon of the MCU. And the X-Men feel like they kind of belong right along with Daredevil and Jessica Jones. Like, it just kind of works that these characters, even though they're not completely connected, the Defenders and the X-Men, it does feel like they're a bit more grounded and gritty and not filled with a bunch of that kind of Guardians of the Galaxy humor that has plagued the MCU for a long time. There is some humor to the show, but there's also a lot of action to the show, and because every episode is 30 minutes, you're going to get a whole story from beginning to end, and they're going to leave you with enough of a cliffhanger that you're going to want to tune in for the next week. It's the type of animated show that worked so well in the 70s, 80s, and 90s that really has kind of been a lost art in recent years, at least in American animation. On the flip side of that, because it's a 30-minute animated show, the bad of it is that I felt like some of the things I saw on screen, especially in the action department, were a bit rushed, because it wanted to give room to breathe for the more soap opera dramatics of it. And so in any given episode, you might get a battle that lasts 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes if you're lucky, and not every single character is going to be in every single episode, or at least they're not going to be highlighted in every single episode. Also, one of the things that I think is different in this show, neither good nor bad, but definitely different, and it may turn some people off, is the character of Wolverine. I think that we've grown to love Hugh Jackman's portrayal of that character over the past 2 decades or so. But in the original X-Men series, I never thought that he was as mean-spirited as he is. Like, I understood he was a bit of a rebel and a bit of a kind of anti-hero, of course, but the way that he treats some of the other characters really turns me off from Wolverine. It made me think, oh, this is the reason I love Gambit or Morph or Nightcrawler. Those characters don't feel as kind of angry all the time. And I understand that people love Wolverine and they love that aspect of him, but it felt a bit too turned up in this show. And the other thing that I would love to see more of, and maybe I will in coming episodes, is more of the characters that aren't necessarily the X-Men, but the part of the Brotherhood. There's just no Brotherhood to be seen in the first 3 episodes, unless there's like a small cameo bit here and there, because Morph can turn into basically anything he wants to. But I would love to see some of the Brotherhood characters. We'll see if they come about in any other way. But I had a lot of fun with this show. I had a lot of fun with the premiere. I met a lot of great people. I actually got to talk to some of the voice actors on the show. I got to talk to some other people from the press or influencers that were way more into Marvel and the MCU than I could ever be. A lot of people that were cosplaying that I thought had amazing costumes. That's just not my scene. I'm much more of a guy that loves to dress up and maybe use some of the colors as inspiration, but definitely not like full outfit creation. But I love going to the stuff like this. I went to the Echo premiere when that came out, and hopefully I'll be at some other premieres, especially for some upcoming Marvel stuff. Hopefully I can be a Deadpool 3. We'll see. But those are my thoughts. If you've seen the show, if you've seen the first 2 episodes or the first few episodes, or if you've seen the whole series, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the show, and I'll be back again really soon. In the meantime, keep moving forward.